The Rookie Faceoff in Los Angeles is starting today and taking place this weekend. I'll talk all about it on this edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez. I've been covering hockey for well over a decade, and today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. We've got a lot to get to on this one, which is going to turn out to be our final episode before we start season 6 officially of Locked On Anaheim Ducks. And I'll talk more about that at the tail end of this podcast, as well as some news. Some good news. Yeah. All right. So let's dive right into it. This is kind of our Rookie Faceoff preview and the preview to start watching some hockey finally. It is September 13th or Friday the 13th, and we're finally going to have some live hockey. So what better time to start the new season of Locked On Anaheim Ducks. So let's talk about the Rookie Faceoff just in general. So it is taking place Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at Toyota Sports Performance Center in El Segundo, California. This is a 10-game showcase, and it's going to feature 5 teams from the Pacific Division and 2 teams from the Central Division. Those teams from the Pacific are the Anaheim Ducks, Los Angeles Kings, San Jose Sharks, Seattle Kraken, and the Vegas Golden Knights. And the 2 teams from that other division, the Colorado Avs and the Utah Hockey Club, insert team name later team. So those are the 7 teams taking place. Not everybody is going to play 3 games. In fact, there are 10 games, and out of those, most teams are going to play 3 games. Some teams are going to play 2 games. In fact, the Seattle Kraken are only going to play 2 games, Saturday and Sunday. The Kings have 3 games, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. The Ducks have 3 games, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. So just to kind of round that out, Colorado, they have 3 games, Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Let's see. I'm trying to go through it. San Jose, they have 3 games. Utah, I'm sure, has 3 games. And Vegas has 3 games. So the only team that's not playing 3 games this weekend is the Seattle Kraken. They only have 2 games this weekend. Some of those guys are going to head out to Coachella Valley, and that is it. So I'm going to break down, because this is Locked On Ducks, I'm going to talk about the Ducks side of this first. The Ducks' 3 games are going to be against the Colorado Avs rookies. That's going to be on NHL Rink 2. So that's Avs versus the Ducks, 3:30 Pacific time. That is today, Friday the 13th. And Game 2 is going to be Sunday, September 15th, Anaheim versus the San Jose Sharks, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on NHL Rink 1. And then their final game, the ultimate game of this entire Rookie Faceoff, Game 3 of Monday, September 16th, the final game, Ducks versus Kings, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, NHL Rink 1. I think that's the game that's going to be the most packed. I cannot wait for those ones. So let's talk about the Ducks roster first. They got a pretty solid rookie roster, I think, and this is highlighted, or it would have been highlighted, by Beckett Sennecke, except he is out. He is injured, although there is an update on that, which I do want to get to actually right now. Beckett Sennecke, as far as we know, he's going to be out, or he was supposed to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, but there has been an update. So he did get a fractured foot. I talked about that on a previous podcast. But now, according to the Anaheim Ducks, Beckett Sennecke is now out of his walking boot. And we got an updated timeline on this. Thank goodness. The updated timeline is he's going to be out now another 2 to 4 weeks. So he's out of his boot. There's a possibility that he could play in maybe 1 or 2 of the last preseason games for the Anaheim Ducks. Hat tip to Felix Acard on that one. So thanks for that one. That's good news. I think that's really good news for the Ducks overall. Honestly, it's a really weird timing that he got like a foot fracture right before rookie camp, right before training camp. But to be out another 2 to 4 weeks, that puts him at about the first week of October is when he could possibly come back. That's great news. Unfortunately, he is still going to miss this rookie faceoff, as well as Tomas Sukanik, who's going to be out for pretty much the rest of the season. So let's look at this rookie camp roster that we have from the Anaheim Ducks, and I will just name the goaltenders first. First, we have Vlad Butiets from Russia. Then we have Calle Klang, who I've talked about on a previous podcast. He kind of struggled a bit last season. And then Michael McIver, who's a camp invite. That's an interesting one. McIver is only 18 years old, but a camp invite. He played with the North Bay Battalion of the OHL. And not much about him except that he's got a save percentage of about .876. The only thing that I see out of McIver is that he's got a pretty decent glove. So take that for what it's worth. As far as defensemen are concerned, got 8 defensemen, pretty solid here. We got Rodwin Dionisio, who was a 5th round pick last year. Tyson Hines, he still qualifies for this rookie faceoff. He was a 3rd round pick 3 seasons ago. Then you have Tristan Luneau. Let's see what he can do. Then you have Wojciech Port, Connor Smith, Terrence Smith, Loic Usuro, and Noah Warren, who I think is going to be a big wild card here because Noah Warren did make the Ducks roster out of camp last season, wound up with a bunch of injuries. So it's going to be really curious to see what Warren does in this rookie faceoff for the Ducks. Then all of these forwards. So I mentioned Sennecke's out. So in alphabetical order, you have Alex Blais, Sam Colangelo, Thomas Dessereau, Nathan Gaucher, Cutter Gauthier. That's who Ducks fans should be looking forward to the most, is Cutter Gauthier. Let's see what he can do in this rookie camp. Then you have Ruslan Gazizov, who's a camp invite, Simon Lovsin, Maxim Massé, Niko Mijatovic. Sasha's back. Sasha Pastujov. He's going to be out on the ice. Colson Petra, Ethan Procision, Igor Sidorov, Kerry Terrence, Jackson Vaughn, and Jackson Weeb. So that's your rookie camp roster for the Anaheim Ducks. The players that I am most intrigued to watch, I'm going to say Noah Warren. I'm going to give 3 names. Noah Warren, Cutter Gauthier, and as much as I want to say Sasha Pastujov, the other player that I actually really want to see what he can do is Igor Sidorov. Sidorov had a pretty big year last year, and I think there's some potential there. So that's someone else that I am looking forward to watching, as well as Nathan Gaucher, obviously. But I'm going to go off the board and see what Sidorov could do. Once again, camp starts today. We're going to head to the first intermission right now. I'm going to talk about the other teams and more. Stay locked in. And now, a brief word from eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience underlined. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, you are locked in with Jason Hernandez. Let's talk about the other teams that are going to be on this Rookie Faceoff. So I mentioned who the Ducks are playing. Let's talk about Colorado for a second. Colorado, not a whole lot as far as prospects, and that's mainly because they traded away a bunch of prospects. They traded away a bunch of picks in order to get a solid roster for their cup run a couple years ago. And you know what? It worked. I mean, for what it's worth, they did win a Stanley Cup a couple years ago. So for what it's worth, yeah, that one's fine. I'll give them that one. But what about who's left? Well, there's definitely some players to watch for as far as Colorado is concerned. Cal Ritchie, I think, was one of those great players in the OHL. Really had a good thing going with Beckett Sennecke last season. Made it all the way to the OHL championship. So Cal Ritchie, I think, is going to be one player to watch out for if you're a Ducks fan trying to watch some of these players. Other players that I've seen in the recent past that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing, Connor Mayer, interesting name there. I mentioned Karan. Ivan. Just because Ivan, two names, why not? Andre Pavel, I think, had some... Oh, actually, Pavel had some time with the Eagles. So did Ivan. So those are a couple players to watch out for. And also Oscar Olesen, another player that spent some time with the Eagles last year. So let's see what he can do for Colorado. But like I said, the roster is a little bit thin, not super high-end names, but there's still some good players there to watch out for. So that's Colorado. Then the Ducks play San Jose. That's a team that I'm really, really looking forward to watching. The San Jose Sharks have, I think, one of the better prospect pools in the entire National Hockey League. This is going to be a matchup of what I consider two of the best prospect pools in the entire NHL. Once again, that is Sunday, September 15th, 4:30 Pacific. Ducks, Sharks. As far as players to look out for on the Sharks, they've got some talent on that roster. Will Smith, he looks really good. Sam Dickinson, he's going to be very good. As of course you have Shakir Mukhamadullin. Then you have Macklin Celebrini, the number 1 overall pick. What can he do on this Rookie Faceoff? His first action, by the way, is the very first game against Utah Hockey Club. Can't wait. A couple other names that I like. Ethan Cardwell, I was really, really impressed with. Georgi Romanov and Philip Bysted. They got some talent on there. They've got some speed. So I would say the 3 players that I'm going to be watching a lot is going to be Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, and probably Romanov. But I think I'm going to talk to JD Young about that definitely over the weekend. So that is a look at the Sharks roster. Then the Ducks play the LA Kings. Oh boy. The Los Angeles Kings rookie roster, and I think Kings fans are going to hate me saying this. Ducks fans are going to love me saying this. Kings fans, not so much. Okay, honesty time for Los Angeles. The LA Kings over the past couple of seasons have, how can I put this nicely? They've done a job. I don't want to say a good job or a bad job. They've done a job of kind of tearing their roster a little bit to try to get some players on the big club. That has not quite worked out. I'm of course talking about Pierre-Luc Dubois. The Kings have given up some great young talent over the past couple of seasons, and their Ontario Reign roster has been depleted, diminished. The Reign roster has not looked as good as it once was. They've lost even more players in Ontario. I don't know if Ontario Reign even make the playoffs this next season. And looking at the rookie roster, there are some good names on this roster. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think they're nearly as strong as some of the other teams out there. Now, they do have Brandt Clarke. Yeah, Kings fans should be very excited to see Brandt Clarke on there. And honestly, I tend to think that he's going to be the one player that Ducks fans really need to keep an eye on. So Brandt Clarke, I like a lot. Who else is on there? I mean, Greentree's on there. He's a very solid prospect for the Los Angeles Kings. I don't know where he's going to wind up this coming year, but I mean, yeah, he could be very good as well. Who else? Okay, here's what some of the lines looked like. You had Francisco Pinelli. You had Brodzinski, not Johnny Brodzinski, the younger Brodzinski. Oh boy. Cole Krieger, Brandt Clarke, Millar is on there. Your main goaltender is going to be Eric Portillo. But aside from that, I would say the two I'm going to watch out for is Liam Greentree, who was their first round pick, Francisco Pinelli, and of course, Brandt Clarke, who should crack the Kings roster this coming season. So those are some players to watch out for. The Ducks are not playing them, but I do need to mention this just in case. Utah Hockey Club is going to play their first games this weekend, and one of those players to watch out for is Tij Ginla, who was on the Utah Hockey Club. However, it was just reported that Tij Ginla is going to be out for the Rookie Faceoff. That is a shame. Yeah, I'm pretty sad about that. Tij Ginla was going to be out for a few days. It turns out he is not going to play in the Rookie Faceoff. He will travel with the team, but he is not going to play. So Utah Hockey Club is going to have a really interesting roster, to say the least. A couple of guys I'm going to watch out for with the Utah Hockey Club. Maverick Lamoureux, he's going to be pretty interesting to watch. Cole Baudouin, Kyle Krunkovich, who Ducks fans might remember. A couple other names that Ducks fans might remember. Leighton Moore. Yeah. And gosh, I mean, their lineup's fine. Leighton Moore's pretty good. Max Zuber, who played with the Roadrunners last season, cracked that roster. Owen Allard. Yeah, there's some decent talent on there. Reed Cooper, another kind of talented player there. Lamoureux is going to be good. But without Tij Ginla, that's going to take out some dynamic skating right there. So that's some players to watch out for the Utah Hockey Club. All right, we're going to head into the second intermission right now, and I'm going to talk more about the Rookie Faceoff on the other side. And now a brief word from Indeed. And folks, if you need to hire, you need Indeed, because Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all, but to match with Indeed. Because you could ditch the busy work, you can, use the matching ability, and it helps you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. And you could join the more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Once again, that's Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And once again, you're locked in with Jason Hernandez talking about the Rookie Faceoff. So I'm going to just break down the entire... Actually, no, I'm going to give the big news right now. So I will be boots on the ground for the Rookie Faceoff this coming weekend. Why is that? What's going on? Well, if you are going to be watching online, especially that first game, the first Utah Hockey Club game, you will hear my dulcet tones on the PA. That's right. I will be one of the public address announcers for the Rookie Faceoff, along with Trevor Raybone, the PA voice for the Los Angeles Kings, and the one and only Phil Hewlett, the PA voice for the Anaheim Ducks. I am thrilled. I'm actually honored. I'm very honored to be part of this select group that gets to do public address for the Rookie Faceoff, the only AHL full-time PA on there. But to be even on the same level, for this tournament as Trevor, who's great with the Kings. And come on, Phil. I love Phil Hewlett. He is by far one of the best public address announcers in the National Hockey League. And for me to get to do this tournament with him, I cannot wait. I'm very excited about that. So I'll be doing a few games during this rookie tournament, and I will be there most of the weekend. I'll be there most of the weekend, but I will for sure be there for all 3 Ducks games, or I'll try to be, because I'm actually doing the San Jose Utah game at 1:00. And as that game is finishing, Phil will be starting in rink 2 for Avs Ducks on the other side. So I will be getting to check that one out on ice level. So that's going to be really cool to watch. As far as Ducks Kings, that'll be Trevor doing that one. But that's after I do Colorado San Jose on the other side. Or actually, no, I'll be at Utah Vegas for Monday. And then Sunday, it'll be Phil on there for Ducks San Jose. But I will be boots on the ground for all those games. You could check them out on AnaheimDucks.com. But if you want to hear my dulcet tones, I'll be doing some of those games. And I will say, check out that first game between the San Jose Sharks and the Utah Hockey Club. This will be the first ever hockey for Utah Hockey Club. So I'm excited, folks. Can you tell how excited I am about this? So, even if you're not a Ducks fan, but you want to check out some of the other stuff, be sure to check out as much of the Rookie Faceoff as possible. And you could see who the Ducks could be facing in our division later this season. So do check it out. You could follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting the games that I'm doing and where I'm going. So check all of that out. In the meantime, here's a breakdown of the entire schedule. Friday, Game 1, San Jose versus Utah, 1:00 Pacific. Game 2, Colorado versus Anaheim, 3:30 Pacific. Game 3, Vegas versus the Los Angeles Kings, 7:00 Pacific. Then we have Saturday, September 14th, Seattle versus Colorado, 3 p.m. Pacific. Game 2, which I won't be there for, Utah versus Los Angeles, 7 p.m. Pacific. That's Saturday. Sunday, 2 games. Vegas versus Seattle at 1 o'clock Pacific, and then Anaheim versus San Jose at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Then Monday. Monday is going to be an early day for me. Game 1, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, Colorado versus San Jose. Game 2, Utah versus Vegas. That's Monday at 12:30 p.m. And then Game 3, the big one, Ducks Kings, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, NHL Rink 1. And I realize that there's probably not going to be any Ducks fans, or maybe 1 or 2 Ducks fans that are going to make it out to the Rookie Faceoff just in general, because tickets were so limited. They only went out to Kings season ticket holders and Reign season ticket holders. So I know this is kind of sucky for Ducks fans that want to watch in person, but you could watch all the action on AnaheimDucks.com, and they'll try to do as good a job. But since I will be boots on the ground, I will try to provide as much coverage as possible. I'll be tweeting like crazy, folks. So be sure to check that all out. You could follow along on my personal Twitter at StimpyJD, or you could follow the show's Twitter X at LO_Ducks. I'll be tweeting like crazy and try to provide as many updates as possible throughout the weekend. And I'm just honored that I get to even be a part of this. To get to see all of this live, that's going to be great. And it's actually very good timing because Season 6 of Locked On Anaheim Ducks will officially start on Monday. I cannot wait. That's when we go back to daily shows next week. And now that I'm finally health-wise, I'm finally better, ready to go. I can't wait, folks. Really can't wait. That's going to do it for this podcast. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for watching for the past 5 seasons, and we will start season 6 on Monday. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter, StimpyJD, show's Twitter at LO_Ducks. You could email me at lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. I realize I have a crap ton of mailbag questions. I will get to those either next week or the following week, but for sure this month. And just once again, thanks for joining me on this incredible journey. Thanks for joining me on this ride. And thanks for your continued and unwavering support. It is so greatly appreciated. And I hope to see at least 1 or 2 of you at Toyota Sports Performance Center this weekend. For Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason JD Hernandez saying have a great weekend, folks. Be sure to watch as much of the Rookie Faceoff as possible. Please remember to be safe out there, especially right now with these fires and earthquakes and all that. Please be safe out there. Please be kind to one another. And ducks and baby ducklings fly together.